Right, everyone, just getting started. Going to be speaking about the art of detachment. Hey Thomas, Libra Chick, Leo, hey Storm, much love. Hey Miata, Anonymous. Alright, just getting started, just waiting for some people to join in. I'm going to talk about the art of detachment. Attachment is the root of all suffering, as Buddha famously said. I'm going to expand on that today, explain exactly why that is absolutely true, and then share some tips for detaching, but also finding the middle ground. I've just done a little reel on this subject, but I was called to discuss it a little bit deeper. Hey, what's happening? Steve, oh bro, yeah. Good to have you here, man. Have a great day, evening, night. Thank you. Wishing you the same, Storm. Hey, KMY. What's happening? Alright, we're going to be talking about the art of detachment. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes. A couple of minutes. Hey, Pinto. Most people catch these afterwards, and the recording will be on the page. Good evening, my friend, KMY. All is well and good, my friend. Peace and love to you. Yeah, sorry to hear about that, Steve. Glad to have you back. And also good to hear you've been living the dream, the concepts from my book, and vibing high. Excellent stuff. Hey, Nams, N-A-M. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Nam. Much love. I'm just listening to a little bit of relaxing music today, not energetic as I often have in the background. So I'm going to be talking about detaching, and with detachment, it's about letting go. So, you know, I often talk about balancing the two states of mind, being relaxed, completely letting go, and then being energized, being fully engaged. But we've got to find the middle ground. So when we're in this world, this illusion, whatever you want to call it. In my book, I call it a dream consciousness. Oh, it's the graphic man backwards. Awesome. I love it. Good stuff. Who's sober? How's it going? Trade Untitled. Forgotten World. Much love. Thank you very much for joining in, all. So let's get into it. The recording will be on the page, and I'm sure people will be coming in and out. But look, if you ever feel tested in any shape or form in this world, you can always detach, you can always let go. And this is in your power. Like, anyone can do it any time. It just takes a little bit of time to spend to do it. So I like to listen to music like this. Who's sober? How's it going? Hey, Akshay. So Tibetan bowls is one of my favorite. So I love to listen to Tibetan bowls, but I have playlists on my Spotify for, I actually call it Kambo sound healing. But I've got one for Tibetan bowls as well, which is just Tibetan bowls. And I love to listen to sound healing frequencies for detachment. But let's talk about attachment first, and then we talk about detachment and some of the techniques for detachment. Hey Lloyd, much love. Thank you very much for joining in. C Bones, how's it going, brother? Thank you very much for joining us with your presence. Going to talk about the art of detachment today. So Buddha said this famously, right? That the root of all suffering is attachment. I just done a short reel on this, and attachment, actually, you can take it further. When we say attachment, we have this tendency as human beings to get obsessed. So it's not just like, you know, in this world, we're going to have to attach within the illusion to function. Okay? So Buddha's whole path to enlightenment and nirvana is about detachment. But after enlightenment, you have to find a middle ground, which Buddha also did as well, right? So myself as well, after enlightenment, I had to find a middle ground. And the middle ground I settled for. So transcending the illusion was for me is seeing this as a dream, and I wrote a whole book about it called Live the Dream, A Guide to Enlightenment and Freedom from the Matrix. The link is in the bio. It's available on Amazon. So that is all about seeing this as a dream consciousness. So I wake up, I'm in a dream. I go to sleep, I'm out of this dream world and into other dream worlds, into other dimensions. So dreams are other dimensions. So you're going in and out of different dimensions all the time. This is just another dream, but you wake up to this one every day until the day you don't. And the dream world, this dream does end for everyone at some point. So this is an illusion, a dream that we're in. Our soul is having the dream. Our soul is immortal, has had many dreams, many lifetimes, you could say. So each lifetime is just another dream. So that's why life is so short. Not that long, really. You know, I've said it before. I'm 44 years old. My brother was 43 when it ended for him. My dad was only 32. So I had to learn detachment from loss, because loss and, you know, going through the grieving process, you've got to detach. So we get attached to people, you know, family members, of course. You know, we got to love them. But, you know, I learned this through losing my brother and losing my father. The only way to heal and get over it was to detach. Is the love creates attraction, creates attachment. So it's very natural. So we get attached to things. We get attached to people, we get attached to problems. You know, problems, a lot of the time, what happens with human beings is that we have this tendency to obsess on problems. It's okay to think about your problems whilst you're dealing with them. And that's what I try to practice and train my mind to do. But it's not easy because your mind has a tendency to think about things when it doesn't need to. So attachment to thinking about things when you don't need to is also suffering. Because a lot of the time our problems are much bigger in our mind than they are in reality. Because we obsess on them, we make them bigger. We turn a molehill into a mountain in our mind. That's what obsession and attachment does. We can turn a molehill into a mountain. We can turn a small thing into a big problem. We can turn something small into something massive purely by obsessing on it, by attaching to it. You know, people go through this with breakups, with loved ones. They get attached to people. They obsess over people. You know, you find a partner and you obsess and you get attached. And then when it's over, you find it hard to detach. You know, it's the same thing with when you lose a loved one, lose a family member. Like I lost my, hey Alexander, how's it going, brother? Hey 3AINC, all my friends, holograma, pear chick, much love. Thank you very much for joining in. Lakshay. Just talking about, we actually had this discussion the other day, Alexandra. So yeah, it's good to have you here. So we was talking about attachment, right? Attachment is the root of all suffering. So in this illusion, we will get attached to things. You know, we can get attached to things like our house, our cars. We can get attached to people, right? And we need to attach to some extent. But when something becomes an obsession, that's when it's a problem. Like when we obsess over someone or something, like even work. Like we all have to work, we have to do business. I have to run 3 businesses, right? I have to do that. And there are many problems associated with doing business and work. But I only engage in the work, the business, the problems related to the business when it's time to do so. There has to be a time where you cut off. There has to be a time. So Like, a lot of people take their work with them. Like, you know, when you finish working for the day, that's it, cut off. Like, you can always think about it tomorrow when you start work again. You know, it's very important to find this balance. This balance between attachment and detachment, finding that middle ground. And even with the illusion, when we transcend the illusion, like, without a doubt, when you go into, when you're going for full enlightenment, you got to detach completely. Like, when I went full forth into the path of enlightenment, you know, I've been working on it a long time, my whole life, right? But that time when I truly made what I was guided to, more so than anything else. But of course, there are choices and decisions made in alignment with that. But I decided to completely stop doing everything, like, for weeks. Okay, obviously I'm living with my family, my kids, just interacting with them, shut off from the world completely. No work, no business, nothing for weeks. About 2 weeks, completely detached. 3 weeks, it's a sweet spot. You'll start to transcend the illusion. But you've got to completely let go. Completely let go. I mean, that, you know, nirvana, enlightenment, that takes full detachment. Like, you're not going to get it if you're within the illusion all day long and then out of it for a little bit and in it again. You got to completely detach. Like, that full-on enlightenment takes a full-off detachment completely, like, for weeks. So, you know, you got to go off grid and you got to go away from everything that takes you away from it. So, people, obviously, I had some connection with I've got children and my wife. But my wife, I was fully open with her. She knew what I was going through. She knew what I was doing. So she knew I wasn't going to be fully there. My mind was gone during that period. Completely gone. I was not me anymore. I had to completely let go of who I thought I was, who I thought I was becoming, who I want to become. All of that bullshit has to go. Can't think about who you want to become and who you were. And full-on enlightenment requires full-on detachment. Your ego is gone completely. When I transcended this illusion, especially getting this concept of this is a dream, I'm just waking up into a dream, that was like the switch for me. That's why I wrote a book about it. When I saw this as a dream, and I just recognized every day I woke up, I'm waking up into a dream, and I'm just living a dream every day. You know, that was the way I saw it. That's why I wrote a book about it. After I came out of enlightenment, because 40 days I was gone. I was completely gone. Who I thought I was, who I thought I was going to become, who I thought I was gone completely. There was nothing left of me. All that was left of me was consciousness and God, the divine, and everything the divine was teaching me. And it brought me onto this path, brought me onto the page, starting the Mind of Matter, sharing knowledge, sharing wisdom. That's why I do what I do, because it's what I realized through my enlightenment. This is what I was born to do. This is what I should be doing. But enlightenment teaches you everything. It taught me you'll know everything that happened in your life up to the point where you are right now, exactly why everything happened. All the bad stuff too. And a lot of the ugly stuff, the most ugly stuff that you thought was the worst stuff that happened in your life, that was the most important stuff. Okay, like for me, that's what I learned. Like losing my father, losing my brother, overcoming addictions. All that stuff was a part of my process that I was supposed to get through. I had to go through it to get to where I am now. I had to. It was a part of my development process for my soul, for the journey in this lifetime. It was the chosen path. So when I went into enlightenment, I had to let go and detach completely. I had to get away from everyone, everything, no contact, no social media. Apart from doing the videos here and there, I was only posting what I was learning. And that was it. Like no watching other stuff. Nothing else going in, no information, just purely expressing what I was learning. And that's why I wrote a book, Live the Dream, A Guide to Enlightenment and Freedom from the Matrix. That's what my book is called. But the reason I wrote that book is because I was writing everything down. The divine was teaching me. The source was teaching me. The gods. I call them the gods. Buddha, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Christ consciousness, waheguru consciousness, Shiva consciousness. These are all levels of consciousness, not people. You can call them, I wouldn't even call them beings, because it's way much more than that. They're much more than that. It's consciousness. All is mind. So those are levels of consciousness your level of consciousness can tap into, dive in and out of. Right? I'll take your comments in a little while once I finish talking, guys. I see there's quite a few comments coming in, but I will get through them. Thank you very much for the comments. But when I'm in flow, I just like to speak. So when I was going through that whole journey, it was just me. The old me was gone. Who I thought I was and who I thought I was gonna be, that didn't matter anymore. Because, you know, I've spent the last 20 years as a stock market trader and coaching traders and financial traders and a therapist. But, you know, the therapy skills were something that I was supposed to use in this path. You know, but I had to learn that through enlightenment. And I still do that business, but this is where my heart's at now, right? So, you know, I created that business before I had that profound enlightenment experience. So, you know, the whole idea of enlightenment, it has nothing to do with who you think you are and who you thought you was and who you think you're going to become. When you go into enlightenment, you're gone. You have to surrender everything you thought you were and think you are. You have to surrender fully, like all thoughts are gone. That's the only way the divine can fill your mind with pure divine guidance. Pure ideas from God. It's the only way God can truly speak to you, when you get yourself out of the fucking way. That's the only way. So there is a way to truly find yourself, but that detachment path, you got to be away from everything. Now, there's a middle ground, and everyone can settle for the middle ground anyway, whether you go for the full-on enlightenment experience or not, whether that's a part of your journey this lifetime or not, because for some it's not. It's not a part of their experience for their soul in this lifetime. But for me it was. And that journey, for everyone that it is, they're gonna share it, because that's the whole point of going through it, because we are all one. So you have to share. You have to share that knowledge and wisdom. You have to share that love, because you no longer see any separation. I only see other me's. There's only God. There's only the divine. You know, everything else is just a manifestation of that, just ripples and waves in the ocean. The divine is the ocean. We're little ripples. So, in this illusion, you get caught up with being that wave, being that ripple. And you think that's all I am. So everything is from that perspective. And then you get attached to things from that personality, that perspective, the ego. The ego is the personality, the person you believe you are. And that is what gets hurt. Your ego gets hurt. Your soul doesn't. Your soul couldn't give a shit. Your higher self couldn't give a shit. The petty problems of this world does not matter to your soul, because it's way beyond that. It's with the divine, it's with God. This is a projection, a dream world, an illusion. And it knows that fully, and your higher self knows that fully and completely. So anytime a problem shows up in there, it's all a part of the illusion. Anytime negative thinking shows up in this, it's all a part of the illusion. Anytime negative emotions show up in here, it's all a part of the illusion. You gotta just keep reminding yourself, it's illusion. Now, it's real enough for us to experience, of course. But we're only here to enjoy it, not hate it. So whatever brings you joy, you connect with that fully and completely. Whatever brings you happiness, you connect with that fully and completely. But whatever doesn't, you detach from that. And you have that power. We all have that power. So look, there's times where we have to engage in problems, without a doubt. In business, in work, in relationships. This is a reality in this illusion. There's a reality within the illusion that we have to learn to live with. And that reality is that there's going to be suffering in some shape or form. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. That we have to learn to deal with. Much of it is for our growth. But when we get attached to the problem, get attached to the suffering, we only reinforce it. You know, we're just light, shining our light. You either shine it on the problem and you keep focusing on it, or you shine it away. You know, you are the controller of the light, the torch, like a flashlight. Yeah, we're light, we shine our light. Human, the man of light, okay, or woman of light. We're beings of light, we're shining our light. As soon as we put our attention on something, we're shining our light there. Right? Even quantum physics has proven nothing actually truly exists until you observe it. So a problem will arise and we will have to deal with a problem, but only think about the problem when you're dealing with it. What happens with a dysfunctional human mind is that we obsess on problems even when we're not dealing with them. And that's where the anxiety comes in. That's where the worry comes. That's where the fear comes. And that's where the doubt comes. Because we attach ourselves to problems. We attach ourselves to things. We attach ourselves to people. Too much. To the point where it becomes obsession. Like even addiction. What is addiction? To substances. It's okay, right, to, in moderation, for pretty much anything. Have a little bit of a drink. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I don't smoke cigarettes. Okay, I don't take cocaine. I don't smoke joints. Okay, I gave up all of that. But in moderation, nothing is really a problem. You know, having a drink of alcohol isn't really going to harm you every now and again. But when you're doing it daily, you know, when I went through my addiction, cocaine addiction, it was a daily thing. So that was a problem, you know. So smoking, when you have to smoke cigarettes, then it's an obsession, it's an addiction. When you have to have the joint, otherwise you won't feel good, then it's an addiction, it's an obsession, it's an attachment. What about if you can't get weed anymore? What are you going to be doing then? Your attachment is going to be the root of that suffering. You know, what about when you can't get alcohol anymore? What about when you can't buy cigarettes anymore? Okay, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but what if? Right? Because it's even like we get attached to anything. It's going to cause suffering. Like, people are going to come and go in this world. Like, I lost my father when I was 7 years old. I lost my brother when he was 43 years old a few years ago. Right? You know, people come and go. My grandfather died quite young. My grandmother, you know. I've lost loved ones, and I'm sure other people have. In this life, we're going to lose people. They're either going to be like breakups as well. We'll break up with people, fall in love, fall out of love. Right? They're gone. Okay? Some people get married and then get divorced. You know? But then they get attached to the idea that they were married. And that becomes painful because I was married and, you know, I put everything into it and we loved each other, and you're obsessing over what was. You know? That's what obsession does. That's what attachment does. The pain and the suffering related to a breakup, the pain and the suffering related to a divorce, the pain and the suffering related to losing a loved one when they pass away, it's all down to attachment. It's the root of all suffering. The pain and suffering when you're trying to give up alcohol, give up cigarettes, is down to attachment. When I went on this path, I gave up everything. I gave up. I've been on this path for like a long time. Like, I've been doing meditation, but I was always smoking, drinking, partying. Like, I didn't think it was a problem. But that's a part of the attachment. You know, and then you wise up and realize, wait a minute. I'm lying to my fucking self. You know? And that's when, you know, when you realize how much bullshit you tell yourself, then you're on your way. Because you realize how much you lie to yourself. You make excuses. Like, I need this. I want this. I have to have this. Like, some people are obsessed with the idea of love. But finding love in another. But that will never happen if you can't love yourself enough first. You have to love yourself. Because how can you love another fully and completely if you have no love for yourself? The love has to come from somewhere. The love has to be in your heart in the first place. So you can truly only love one another when you have love in your heart for yourself. So self-love is key. But looking for it out there, that's an obsession for many. I need to find a partner. I need to find someone to love me in order to have love. No. I've got a wife. We're happily married. Okay. But there was a time where we had a rocky period, and that was all down to my bullshit, really. Right? But luckily we made it through it. She didn't give up on me. But the more I love myself, the more she loves me. That's the way it works. When I was destroying myself, she didn't want to love me. That's the way it works. You know, if you're destroying yourself, a loved one don't want to see that. So, you know, you've got to look after yourself, firstly. But detachment is key. Like, when we suffer in this world, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, when we suffer in some shape or form, we've got to learn to let go. It all begins with letting go. And that is the art of detachment. Right? So we can listen to some nice relaxing music. Like this is cool. You know, we can listen to some nice relaxing music. I like Tibetan bowls. What is absolutely fantastic about sound frequencies, sound healing frequencies like Tibetan bowls, okay, but you can use other technology, audio technology like binaural beats, isochronic technologies, just relaxing meditation music, the sound of the didgeridoo, the sound of Om, or Om Mani Padme Hum, or waheguru for me, because I'm born into Sikhism, so I have a name for God, and I call God waheguru, which actually means the wondrous enlightener. So when I repeat the name waheguru, 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 I'm surrendering myself to that source, to the divine source of enlightenment. So in Sikhism, that's what we call it, but it doesn't matter what you call it. The divine doesn't care what label you give it, but it does help to have a name for connecting with the divine. Whether you call that Christ, whether you call that Allah, whether you call that God, whether you call that the divine, you know, whatever works for you, you will know. But there is a divine source of enlightenment and also a divine source of life force energy. So that one source that provides life also provides enlightenment. It's who you meet during enlightenment. It's what you meet and say it's not a person, it's not a thing, but it's a teacher. That's why it's called a waheguru. It's called the wondrous enlightener or the wondrous guru. So there's only one teacher. There's only one true guru, the eternal guru. And everyone's connected to that one guru, that one divine source. God, the divine, it doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't care. As long as you know when you're connecting with it. So I know what I'm connecting with when I say waheguru. I know what I'm surrendering to. So the art of detachment starts with letting go and surrendering. You have to surrender completely and fully. Your ego will get in the way, and your ego is personality. Anything that to do with you and who you think you are, who you thought you were, who you think you're going to become, that is all related to your lower level thinking. So the divine is way much more. So it's beyond thinking. So when you surrender and detach, we're not just detaching from this illusion here. So like you might close your eyes and meditate and you go within, but you've also got to detach from the thoughts. Recognize most of those thoughts are not your own anyway. Most of them from etheric entities attached to your aura, demonic entities, which feed on fear. Demons in the spirit world feed on fear. And the more fear you have, the more they will get attracted to your aura. And they will attach themselves all around your body here. Outside of your body. This is where your aura is. And if you don't get out of that lower vibration, you'll just have demons all over your aura. And they can take control of your thoughts. Those spirits can control your mind. That's why most people feel like they're not in control, because they're not. The demons attached to their aura and their spirit are. Because they're constantly in fear, and those demons attached to the fear. This is why the government, right, mind control, Alexander, right? We spoke about this the other day. This is why they push out fear. It's why it's all fear-mongering out there on social media, on the news. There's so much good news to share around the world. Why is it always bad news? Because it's all about fear. The more the collective conscious is kept in fear, these demons have one job to do: attach themselves to the souls full of fear. And there's many practices. I've done a reel on this the other day. You know, top 10 methods for destroying the demons that attach to your soul. And you can start with something simple, like just connect with nature. They don't like higher vibrational beings. The lower vibrational beings are food. Lower vibrational people are food for the demons. And if you allow for you to become food, they will take over your mind and give you thoughts you don't want to have. That's where the negative thinking comes from, most of it. That's why you're not choosing to have negative thinking. It's just happening. Yes, it's mental patterns as well. Habitual mental patterns that you reinforce by keep repeating them. But why are they happening in the first place? Right? Why are they happening in the first place? It's because there's an etheric world out here that most people can't see with their eyes. The spirit world. It's a reality which can be felt and it can be seen. Like, you've heard it before, face your fears. Next time you go within and go into deep meditation, think about your fear that you have. What are you afraid of? And ask it to show itself. You will see something show up which represents that fear. You go deep enough into meditation, you see the demons themselves. But they're not scary. They're only scary if you don't face them, because that's the only way they can control you. They can only control you through fear. But you can take control through love, like this selfless love. They hate it. They hate people serving people. They run away. So for me, like selflessly helping, sharing wisdom, knowledge, it's actually a technique as well for ridding myself and cleansing my aura. Before I jump on a live here, I've done about a 1 hour deep meditation to Tibetan bowls like this, followed by a hot shower and then a cold shower. So all these methods, they hate because it raises your vibration. Putting on some music and having a dance, watch the demons run away. They hate it. Connect with nature, connect with animals, because then you will show appreciation and gratitude for life and nature, and they hate that. So there's real simple things you can do on a daily basis, but you've got to do it. And the thing is, when you're on the path, you've got to take it seriously. This is key, because if you don't do it properly and you don't do it seriously, if you're a person on the path towards enlightenment especially, every time these demonic entities get a chance to notice your guard is down and that fear is up, they will attach themselves. So this is why it's essential to do daily practice. Like for me, meditation, breath work, connect with nature, cold shower, aromatherapy, like nice smells, anything that smells nice, like some white sage, right? White sage. This is very cleansing. So you got to cleanse your environment. Incense. So all these are very well-known things, but you've got to be on top of it every day, because if you let your guard down, you'll feel the difference, because you're going to start feeling you're going to start noticing you're full of fear and doubt and anxiety. And I get this all the time with the people I work with on this path. They're constantly in a state of overwhelming anxiety, doubt and fear, because they're not doing it seriously. They're not doing the work. You can't fuck around with this. You can't fuck around with this path. You can't like dabble in it. You can't. You just can't dabble in it. You've got to either be on it or not on it at all. Like spiritual enlightenment is a path that requires discipline. You can't fuck around. You can't mess around. Like the rituals have got to be daily from the moment you wake up. Like I wake up, I go for a walk in nature. Spend a good 1 hour in nature before I do anything else. The shower and cleansing yourself, and a cold shower. That cold shower raises your vibration, or an ice bath even, like cold therapy. Aromatherapy, incense, just nice smells in general. Right? This cleanses your spirit, cleanses your aura. Tibetan bowls, these are healing sound frequencies. These sound frequencies are healing. You know the frequencies you get off your television watching your nonsense programs? Most of them are creating negative frequencies in your soul, in your body. And that's why if you watch a lot of TV and get caught up in a lot of nonsense social media, you'll notice yourself being full of fear and doubt a lot more. Mostly because it's being peddled in your face. Even conspiracy theories. Be careful with conspiracy theories. Because look, this is a quick question you can ask yourself. Does this make me feel good? Does this develop doubt in my mind? Is it creating fear in my mind? What am I taking in? Like if you're going to watch anything, watch comedies, right? Watch stand-up comedy. Watch something that makes you laugh, makes you full of joy, right? Like just use common sense. If it makes you feel good, watch it, right? But even be careful. Like don't over-consume anything. I do watch stuff on television, but I watch it in small amounts. You know, I watch stuff with my family. I watch movies and documentaries. I prefer to watch movies and documentaries, right? But definitely stay away from generally broadcasted stations, right? Broadcasted television, radio, most of that is peddling fear. You turn your radio on, you're going to hear bad news. You turn your TV on, there's going to be adverts and news broadcasting bad shit. It's going to trigger fear and doubt in you in some shape or form. And soon as that triggers, bam, the ghouls come out, the demons, and they attach themselves onto your soul. That quickly. And the more you allow it to happen, the more you lose control. This is fucking crazy. Like, people don't see it happening. They don't see at what level of this control is. Like, it's on an etheric, spiritual level. It's not just your mind. Your mind is the afterthought. That's the end result. Your mind becomes, what you think is the end result of what you're allowing in your energy field. Your negative thinking, most people can't control it because you can't control the problem on the same level of the problem. Even Einstein said that. You got to defeat the problem before the problem arises. Now, if your thinking is the problem, you can't fix it with thinking. Just use some common sense. Where does the thinking come from in the first place? The energy you surround yourself with. The energy you allow into your aura. It's all energy, baby. All energy. Right? So we got to detach from that. So this, like sound frequencies, Tibetan bowls, I've got Akimbo bowls. Like these bowls, like listen to this. This is the third eye singing chakra bowl. Listen to this frequency. This frequency will cleanse you so quickly. I mean, you can listen to this. I will listen to this Tibetan bowl sound healing frequencies for a good 60 minutes because I'm gone. Like the Taoist way is to do nothing, then do everything. I spend a lot of time doing nothing. A lot of people think I'm always doing stuff because that's when they see me, when I'm doing stuff. But you're not seeing me 24 hours of the day. I'm spending more time not doing anything. Right? You're only seeing me when I do stuff. When I do nothing, I'm gone. Like, out of the illusion, man. I'm going into my own world. I'm going back to the gods. I'm going back to heaven. I'm going back to the divine. Not getting caught up with the bullshit. Right? Bullshit on TV, bullshit conversations. Right? I talk and discuss here. I don't talk a lot in real life, personally. People think I would probably talk a lot, but I don't. Like, if you was to meet me in real life, most people think I'm quiet. Because I don't talk. I don't do a lot of small talk. I teach. I'm a guru. I'm a teacher. So I only teach. I only use my words wisely. I use them for sharing wisdom, sharing knowledge, sharing love. If it ain't doing that, I might as well just shut up. So I use my energy wisely. Most of the time I'm in silence. I'm quiet. Even my children, my wife, yes, we talk. But I'm not talking all the time. I'm not a small talk conversationalist. It's a waste of energy and a waste of time and a waste of words, which most people love to do. They're attached to talking. Like, some people can't sit there in silence and just like, they feel like they have to talk. Like, I only talk when I teach, or I only talk when I have to converse. Otherwise I shut the fuck up, because it's a waste of energy and a waste of time most of the time. So, you know, use your words wisely. We only come into this world with a certain amount of breaths and a certain amount of words that we can speak. So speak the right words. Speak good words. And conscious breathing. Like, obviously most of you guys know me from the Camo breathwork. It's my own breathwork framework, but I've done lots of different breathwork techniques. Wim Hof style, Swami Ramdev, learned from different yogis. But I created my own because I believe everyone should, like even my Qigong, commotion Qigong to music. Like, I learned from different Qigong and Tai Chi masters, but I also done Wing Chun Kung Fu. So my Qigong, I used to be a DJ. So my commotion Qigong is to music, and it's a combination of Tai Chi, Qigong and Kung Fu. So that's why it looks very different to any other Qigong you've seen before. Because I make it my own. That's a part of the creative process. So yes, learn from others. But even when people learn from me, I say, make it your own. I'll teach you how I do it. on my courses where I teach the breath work and the qigong and all the techniques that I do, I always urge people, I say, learn how to do it the way that I do it first, and then play with it and make it your own, because it's only going to become powerful when you turn it into your own way of doing it. Everyone has that's the only way you feel your own true power. Like, you take the information in, like even when the divine teaches me, the divine teaches you, I learn, I listen, right? I'm surrendering my thinking so I can get out the way, because my nonsense thinking is not on the same level of the divine, right? It's not on the same level. So I've got to get my ego out the way and what it thinks, what it believes, what it thinks it knows. And then when I'm completely surrendered, spend a good 1 hour going into deep meditation to like Tibetan bowls like this, I will listen to the sound frequencies. Just listen to that frequency, that energy. I've got a big speaker here. So it's very bassy. Actually, look. Feel that bass. This is how I listen to Tibetan bowls. Well, with headphones as well. With headphones, noise cancelling headphones. I've got some really good Sony ones. But I also do listen to them on the loudspeaker as well. But when I'm going deep within, I put the noise cancelling headphones on. But listen to it. Now, you listen to television or the radio, you're not going to be hearing this frequency. That's a third eye chakra singing bowl by Zebra Inguzu. Zibra. You can get it on Spotify. So it's a great soundtrack. And I use this one a lot. It's very, very powerful. But I have a whole playlist here called Kambo Bowls of just Tibetan bowls. And one after another, it plays sound healing frequencies. And I will listen to that for a good 60 minutes. And that, when I listen to this, I'm not listening to my thoughts. Sound frequencies and sound healing and using music for meditation or sound for music is very, very powerful, much more powerful and much more effective in my opinion than trying to sit in silence. Because when you sit in silence, you're left with your thoughts and your feelings. It's very hard to get away from them. So when you think about it, you hear your thoughts, because everything is sound frequencies, right? You feel your feelings and you hear your thoughts. You don't see your thoughts, you hear your thoughts, right? When you have an inner conversation, when you witness and observe your thinking, it's talking, because it's sound frequencies. That's why you have inner dialogue, inner conversations. So your thinking is an inner conversation. So if it is just sound, change the radio station you're tuned into, because that thinking is going to be of a limited level. It's going to be from the ego. And most of it, as I said earlier, won't even be yours. It will be thinking that you don't want, that you're trying to get away from. So the best way, don't fight your thinking with thinking or trying to not think. That's a massive mistake many people make. They think meditation about trying not to think. No. It's impossible to try not to think. Okay, you might get glimpses, a few seconds, here and there where you'll have no thinking. Your subconscious thinking is going to be there. You might be able to stop consciously thinking, but then you've got your unconscious mind and its thoughts, which are on autopilot. So the only thing you can do is either tune into them or listen to something else. So it's just like you tune into a radio station, you can tune into a different radio station. But most people are only tuned into the radio station in this channel, their brain. So that's all they're hearing. when you listen to like Tibetan bowls and sound healing frequencies, it gives you something else to listen to. It gives your consciousness something else to focus on, and you then listen to that, and your mind quietens down, and your thinking quietens down automatically. You don't have to try. It's effortless to silence the mind when you listen to something else, and you really listen to it. But because Tibetan bowls have this deep like vibration, and the singing bowls have that certain unique frequency, what it does, it actually shuts off your ability to connect with the low level thinking. Now when you're watching TV, when you're listening to radio, or you're just listening to normal music, okay, certain music has different frequencies. Like a lot of the music broadcasted on public radio, low level frequencies to keep you vibing lower. Might make you feel good to some extent, but low level stuff. The old stuff is the best stuff because it's not been fucked around with. So I like to listen to old school music a lot. The pure frequencies. The energies are different. Like from around the year 2000 onwards, music frequencies have changed. Music frequencies before that time were different. So all the sound frequencies, but music in general, as long as it makes you feel good and you can vibe with it, it's good. You will know if it makes you feel good. But certain music will make you definitely feel better. But music is not going to be as powerful as Tibetan bowls or crystal bowls. So crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, the didgeridoo, very powerful as well. And even like listening to like something like Om, right? Om Mani Padme Hum. So this is Om Mani Padme Hum soundtrack. Om Mani Padme Hum. But Om is the primordial sound, right? So Om. So Om has that vibration. So you'll notice with Tibetan bowls and crystal bowls and Om Mani Padme Hum, there's that vibration. Hum, Om. There's a vibration. That vibration is the healing vibration. The Om, the the hum. Like a lot of people hum, right? Quite naturally, they hum. Like they're in the shower, they hum. Right? Why do kids hum? Why do adults hum unconsciously? Because it's an unconscious way to. It's actually healing. Humming is healing. So the vibration of a bass line, it gives you that hum, that zzz, that, right? It's the hum. So this is Om Mani Padme Hum. We've got Om here. Om. These are healing sound frequencies. Now I cover these on my energy mastery course. This sound healing frequencies is where we start, and then I'll go into breath work and qigong. The energy mastery course is 10 hours of training plus a 30-day action plan telling you what to do and when to do it. So it includes the fasting, the energy work, the qigong, the breath work, the sound healing frequencies, the live the dream mindset from my book, cold showers, the walks in nature, dynamic meditation. So these are all the methods I teach in that course. It's called the Energy Mastery course. The link is in the bio if anybody's interested in checking that out. But I do cover all of this stuff in a lot more detail. But these sound healing and practicals, we do the practicals. So these sound healing frequencies are what you can use to help detach. So because you're not just detaching from the illusion here, you also want to detach from what's left when you close your eyes. Okay, when you go into meditation, you want to detach from the thinking. And it's much easier to detach from the thinking when you have something else to listen to. So detachment is key, without a doubt. But we don't want to stay detached all the time because we've got to come back and engage. So this is where timing, this is why my course is called Mastering Energy, right? Because mastering energy is about knowing when to be in yin, which is relaxed, let go, do nothing mode. Let go, let go, let go, doing nothing, just receiving. Your yin is passive. That's surrendering, allowing, receiving divine guidance. Inspiration and intuition comes from there. Creativity then comes from that. So that is the source of creativity. Then you do nothing, then do everything is the Taoist way. I spoke about this in my last video. Do nothing, then do everything. But when you do nothing, like, do nothing. Don't obsess on your problems, because then that's an activity. So you got to be careful when you meditate that you got to be mindful that you meditate properly. Because if you're closing your eyes and listening to meditation music and then just obsessing on your problems with your eyes closed, you're not meditating. You're just obsessing on your problems with your eyes closed. Obsessing on worldly things. Now, to have a heavenly mind, you can't be obsessing with worldly things. People, things, conversations, problems, work, business, those are all worldly things. You can't be obsessing with that when you're detaching. So the art of detachment is understanding that firstly. Like, attachment to thinking in itself is also a disease. Overthinking especially, over imagination. Imagination is important, but only for creativity. But remember where creativity comes from. It comes from letting go. Because inspiration, you're in spirit. Intuition, your intuition from the divine. So true creativity, true inspiration, true guidance comes from the divine. You don't need to be there. You need to let go, empty your cup, and let the divine source fill you with knowledge and wisdom so you can share it with the world. That's what I do. So, that way is effortless. I don't have to think about it. I let God tell me, fill my mind with what I need to share, and then I just share it. So everything I do it in that way. I let go, surrender, empty my cup. I'm not the mind, I'm not the body. There's none of me left. My ego's gone. What have you got for me? And then let the divine teach you. Then the divine teaches you. You write it down if you need to. Remember stuff. That's what I often do when I come out of meditation, because the inspiration will come. You're in spirit. You're being taught from the divine. Intuition. That's why it's called intuition, because your intuition, you're being taught. That's what true intuition is. Inspiration, you're in spirit. Inner guidance comes from that. But when you're thinking, now you've got your own worldly thinking, and you can come up with ideas with that, with a logical mind, but that's not what we're talking about. That's a limited level of consciousness. The divine has no limits. So, to fully express your power, we need to detach, then attach and engage. So that's the middle ground. So I spoke about attachment, obsession especially, obsession over problems, overthinking. That is the problem. Obsession with substances, people, things. That's the problem. Okay? Now, if we direct our energy correctly, we master it by being in that blissful, peaceful state. Letting go, detach, surrender. Divine guidance, inspiration, then creativity. Then we go into creativity, then we engage. Then we're engaging fully and completely in alignment with our purpose and our passion. That's the difference. When you do it the right way, you align with your purpose, you align with your passion. This is what I do here. This is my purpose, this is my passion. It's effortless because I just let it flow. I have a subject and I just talk. Alright, we had a lot of people asking comments earlier. So let me see what people were saying. I feel reborn after the past 3 days, that's for sure. Letting go. Yes, Alexander, I hope you're feeling better, man. Yes, and anyone who says enlightened is full of shit. Haha, we all working towards it. Well, some of us. Well, most people are, yeah, but I have been through enlightenment, so without a doubt, and no one could take that away from me. So, you know, when you've been there and you've gone to heaven and come back, you gained enlightenment. That state of nirvana cannot be faked. It cannot come from a limited mind. But you're absolutely right. Many people don't even know what enlightenment is. They're coming from a limited perspective. They're talking about themselves maybe having a slight awakening or a slight level of a shift in higher consciousness. And that is not enlightenment. If you are still you, you're not fucking enlightened. You know, if you haven't left this reality and seen what is beyond the veil, and you haven't been at the feet of God, okay, I don't mean physical feet, but the divine. If you haven't been there, if you haven't gone to heaven and returned, you haven't gained enlightenment. And you know it. Without a doubt. Because you're gone. You're out of this reality. You're out of this body. You're out of this mind. You're gone. Completely. So if you're still engaged and caught up with this body and this mind, there's a long way to go. Of course. But you're absolutely right. And this is not the lifetime for many. Investing possibility, love this message. Thank you very much. The hero journey, love all this stream. Yes, it is absolutely a hero journey, and you know, this is why, you know, even the metaphor for the resurrection of Christ, it's a metaphor, right? Because we have to get crucified to some extent. That's what it felt like for me. I had to get crucified first, and then I went to heaven, then I was reborn. For me it's a metaphor. Like the crucifixion was real. And then you're reborn. You know, the phoenix comes from the ashes. You know, everything was burnt to the ground. Like in terms of what I thought I was, what I believed in, what I worked on. Everything, you know, had to go. Everything had to be burnt to the ground, and then I come out from that. That's how you rise as a phoenix from the ashes. So all of these are metaphors. You've all heard them before. The resurrection is the rebirth of you. The Christ within you. You know, and a lot of that is going through the suffering to learn then that you've got to detach, because the suffering is all because of the attachment. This is what I've been talking about. And then you learn about attachment through the process of being attached. And then becoming detached. And then that's when you fucking go. When you fully detach. That's when you leave this realm and you go into full-on enlightenment, and you're with the divine and the gods that have made it there before. And then you become a god. Bro, where are we before birth? Your soul is a dreamer, a celestial being. So not a physical being, it has a celestial form. So our soul has a celestial form. It's a swirling form of light, but it has a consciousness. That's how the light itself became the light itself, right? So, and it all stems from, it is sound frequencies out of this realm. It is sound frequencies and light, sound and light, but without physical form. So sound and light, you know, it's what creates what we're here. Vibration, anything physical is really just molecules vibrating. So everything is a vibration, an energetic vibration. So for the soul, the celestial beings, to come into this form. So the soul, the celestial being that we all are, is having a dream. The divine is having a dream. That's what I write about in my book. But the dream is from many different perspectives, to understand the same illusion from many different perspectives. So that's why God has manifested, the divine has manifested itself as you, me, and everyone else, and all these plants and animals and everything else within the illusion to experience the illusion. Truly just for experience, but it is God's playground. And we're actually God's avatars to enjoy the playground, but we get lost. And this is actually what my book is all about, called Live the Dream. So, like in Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz was a metaphor, right? There's other films like Inception about dream consciousness. So, when we go to sleep at night, you go into another world. When you have a dream at night time, your body's asleep on the bed. But your mind has created a whole new reality, which actually has another avatar in there, which you are now playing. So you're now playing this character in the dream, and you can see this person, and you're looking out of that person's eyes. Exactly how this reality works. Exactly the same. So this avatar is not really me. It's the avatar that is projected into this reality to experience the dream. It's an avatar. Avatar again was a metaphor. So the divine has left lots of clues, films and programs. The Matrix, of course, was one. The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy gets hit on the head at the beginning of the movie. She goes into a dream. The whole movie's a dream, and then she wakes up by clicking her heels. Right? And funny, when I was completely gone, before I went out of this reality, I had to click my heels. That was the only thing that came to me, because the Dorothy Wizard of Oz metaphor was hitting me like it's all a metaphor. That's not necessarily say like everybody has to click the heels to get out. It's a metaphor. So it's all metaphorical. Like everything here is metaphorical. Like you have to understand it's all metaphors. And the metaphors are everywhere for everyone to learn from, because the divine has made it easy for everyone to figure out if your eyes are open enough. It's not that complex to figure out what's going on here. But the easiest way for me is to just say it's a dream, because everyone has a dream at night and you wake up from the dream. So once you tap into the labels, tab into the labels and attachments, your life changes for the better. Yeah, Steve, you read the book, right? So, and you're living that concept, from the chat we had the other day on the comments. Stay away from the negative people, absolutely, and situations. Things happen for the better. Yeah, all the labels, it's all just labels, right? People label things, label situations, label problems. All the labels don't matter. That's why I said it doesn't matter what you call the divine source of enlightenment, the divine life force energy. It doesn't matter what you call it. In breathwork, we call it prana. In qigong, we call it qi. In Taoism, we call it the way, the Tao, right? The divine. So I use these names interchangeably. In Sikhism, I was born into Sikhism, we call it waheguru, right? I wasn't actually, sorry Alexander, it's only £1.99, man, on Kindle. So I'm saying, look, if anyone wants it, I'm not doing that service for anyone, unfortunately. Creating a PDF and sending it. It's on it's on Kindle, and it's only £1.99, my book. So, if somebody can't invest £1.99 in their own spiritual enlightenment, that's a bit of a problem. Soul work wellness. Thank you very much for joining in. Vidas. Why fear death before our birth? We are nothing after death. We are again nothing but existence in painful for me. Existence can be very painful for everyone. That's why we're talking about it's the attachment. Okay? The attachment to the problems. The problems will be there, right? I have a disability, I have a problem with my spine, but it doesn't stop me. I actually lost more weight and got in better shape since I've had the problem than before I had it. So, I still do my qigong, I still go for my walk in nature as much as I can. We're going to have problems. That's what we grow through. There should be no fear of death. Like, You know, if there is no fear of birth, why should there be a fear of death? It's all a part of the same cycle. You know, it's always, life is a circle. There's no end to it. You know, in the illusion, yes, there's an end to the life within the illusion, but there's no end to life for the soul and for the eternal mind, you know, pure consciousness. There's no end. There is no death. So death itself is an illusion, so there should be no fear of death. Absolutely. Detachment is the key to happiness, Dimpy baby. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, it's attachment in itself, as we've been saying throughout this live, is where suffering comes from. When we detach, we find true joy. Like when I go into deep meditation, I just completely let go, let go, let go. That's when you find true joy. Joy is in your heart. Like it's there every day. Like you don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything. You know, for me, I'm just listening. I'm just being. You know, I connect with nature, just be. There's true joy. Listen to some relaxing music like this and just be. But really listen and embrace the sound frequencies, the sound healing frequencies, and really embrace the music. You know, it's like when you're in nature, like really appreciate nature. When you do breath work, really appreciate breath, because without it, you're dead. Like show your appreciation and your gratitude for the technique that you're using. So when I'm practicing a mantra, like a waheguru mantra, so whenever my mind is noisy, I just repeat waheguru, waheguru, not out loud, in my mind. So it's easy for me to say, it rolls off the tongue, you know, and that is actually what Sikhism teaches. Just remember the name of God and serve others. That's the two main paths. The two main paths of waheguru, the wondrous enlightener, to find God, is to remember God. So keep remembering God. So it helps to have some label for it, but it doesn't matter what label you use. So I use waheguru because it works for me. And so anytime my mind gets noisy, I just repeat waheguru, 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 waheguru on repeat, and it just shuts up. And the only thing that's left then is the divine in my mind. So it helps to have a name for it, because that label can replace all the other labels. But you can call it whatever you like. It doesn't care what you call it. Thank you very much. The Rihanna Angelica, you're very wise, ain't you? It's not me that is wise, I would say. It's the divine that is wise. All I do is I let go. Obviously there's a me personality here as well in this world, but that personality needs to go for me to do this work. So I try to get out the way as much as possible, so life force energy can do its work through me. And that's really where it comes from. I'm not responsible for the knowledge and the wisdom. God is, the divine is. Drinking alcohol is very, low level. I mean, alcohol is what killed my brother at the age of 43. After that, I saw alcohol in a completely different way. I never really took to alcohol too much myself, but I used to drink alcohol, but I gave it up completely. Like, I mean, why would you want to lower your consciousness even more? Because without a doubt, you know, alcohol, it's called spirit, right? As well. But alcohol itself has another meaning, and it's for me it brings your level so low. That's why, you know, we're talking about the demonic energies and entities that can attach themselves onto your aura. They love drunk souls because they're unconscious. It's easiest to attach to someone when they're losing consciousness. The more you drink, the more you lose consciousness. So you become semi-conscious. That's why people will do so many stupid things. Like when I used to drink, that was actually the only time. Me and my wife don't argue. We don't argue at all. The only time we used to argue, and we've been together, we've been married since 2007, right? But we've been together since she was 17 years old and I was 21. I'm 44 years old now, so 23 years. And we hardly ever argued. The only time we ever used to argue is when we drank alcohol. Neither of us drink alcohol now, so we never argue. I mean, that in itself is just goes to show me. So I've got enough. My brother dying from drinking too much alcohol, from liver failure and kidney failure because of alcohol abuse, and knowing what it does to me, and how good life is without it, is more than enough to evidence for me to know it's not good, you know. And again, you know, no real harm in a little bit here and there, but again, it is going to lower your consciousness. You will feel good, but you'll feel shit the next day. But are you really feeling good? You know, demons aren't scary if you're happy. Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier, like face your demons. Like when your fear is there, when you go into deep meditation, don't be scared. Like that, when you go into deep meditation, like people will get scared. I've heard this before. People get scared of possession when they like, I don't want to meditate. I don't want to let go because I'm scared of possession. Look, here's the thing. You're possessed anyway. They possessed you when you're not in meditation. Like 99% of the world is possessed. They're walking zombies. They don't even know it that they're possessed. They're not in control of their minds. Because the demons are. So they are not scary if you face them, because soon as you show love, soon as you start to vibrate and connect with God, connect with the divine, connect with nature, and love yourself, they hate it. They're gone. The ghouls are gone. The ghouls that are attached, they're just here in the etheric, right? They're not scary. And even when you face your fears, like when I have fear, I go into deep meditation and I with courage, I ask it to show itself. The entity behind that. The demon behind this fear, or the ghouls behind it, whatever spirits are behind this, I ask them to show themselves. And they do. I see them. They're not scary, because they're also illusion. But they're part of the illusion that has power. So, you know, even that is illusion. So we can destroy that illusion, but we have to learn to face it. Like some people are scared. They say, oh, I'm going to get possessed. No. This is how you get out of that possession. Because when you truly let go, there's only you, divine, and the gods. So, you know, you can side with the gods or you're siding with the demons. You know, that's it. The demonic entities are going to be there all over the people, full of fear and doubt, because that's what they feed on. That's their food source. They feed on fear. And the more fear you have in your soul, in your aura, and nasty energies, that's what they attach to. They feed on fear, doubt. That's food. Demonic food. So when you align with God, the divine, and I call the gods God consciousness, right? For me, that's when I say gods, I'm talking about Buddha consciousness, Christ consciousness, because they all teach you something different. Like Christ consciousness teaches me about humility. It teaches me about unconditional love. Shiva consciousness teaches me about transcending the illusion, the destroyer and the creator of the illusion. Buddha consciousness teaches me about detachment and attachment. Waheguru consciousness is for me all about pure divine enlightenment and the path towards that. So, but these are labels I've assigned to understand this world, the higher dimensions for me. But you know, whatever labels you put on it, it doesn't matter. But there are levels of consciousness, higher levels of consciousness, which teach you directly. So Buddha consciousness, I can connect with it and I can learn from Buddha. You know, I don't have to read a book. Buddha will come directly to me. I want to learn what Jesus knew. I'd connect with Jesus Christ directly. Christ consciousness. It's a consciousness. I want to learn what the 10 Sikh gurus taught. I connect with waheguru consciousness. If I want to learn what Shiva taught and Krishna was teaching and their teachings, I connect with Shiva consciousness. It teaches me directly. I don't need to read a book. That's divine wisdom. That's divine guidance. You know, and everyone has access to it. All you got to do is get out the fucking way. Because if you think you know it all, then where's it going to come from? So, like, some people say, you know, as you said, it's not me that's wise, it's them that's wise. I'm just a messenger. Yes, Nicole. Entity clearance. That's absolutely it, right? You know, some people underestimate the importance of some simple things like just going for a walk and connecting with nature, grounding, of course, having a shower, like cleansing you can cleanse your aura just by having a shower. Nice cold shower for 30 seconds, 60 seconds at the end, that finishes it off nicely. But a bath, a shower, like cleanliness, keeping your body clean cleanses your aura too. Like simple things like that. But I done a post the other day, top 10 things for helping cleanse your aura from these demonic entities. That's what they are. They're ghouls. Well, I had a teacher called Stuart Wilde, which I luckily got to see in 2012 before he passed away in 2013. But he was big on the etheric field, and he was my guru for that. And actually in my book, if you look at the beginning in my acknowledgements, I actually acknowledge him. So I say, I show gratitude to the gods, the gurus who inspired me on my journey: Jesus, Buddha, Shiva, Guru Granth Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and Stuart Wilde. The reason I put Stuart Wilde in there, and most people don't even know who he is, because he was a very influential guru for me. And I was lucky enough to see him in 2012 in Amsterdam on a retreat before he passed away in 2013. But he wrote some brilliant books, God's Gladiators and The Art of Redemption. But it was way out there, way beyond his time, you know. And most people now wouldn't even know who he is. But I like to carry the messages across because they were so influential for me. But he helped me see the etheric, see subtle energy. He helped me see and tap into the morphic field, the etheric field. So there's an etheric reality. So that's where the ghouls are. He used to refer to them as the ghouls or the demons, right? So that's where they are. They're in the etheric. They're not in the body. They're here, outside, in your aura. That's where they attach. One love, one love. Right, alright guys, I've done quite a long live today. Thank you very much for joining in, man. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Much love, much love. I would love to hear more about your enlightenment journey, brother. What was heaven like? It's hard to put into words. I've done whole lives on it. They're actually on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram page. So if you actually go to series, there's actually a series called Enlightenment, because I've spoke about it a number of times. So just to stop myself from repeating myself and sharing the same story again and again and again, I just do a live on it every now and again. So I've already done probably about 20 lives just talking about my enlightenment experience. So you might want to check that out, Alexander, because obviously I only touched on it today, but I talk about the 14 chakras, that, you know, the 7 chakras outside of the body, that I was shown during enlightenment. I never knew about them before. So, you know, you got the 7 chakras here in the body, but above your crown chakra, you got the 8th chakra, which is about a foot above your head. And that's what connects you to the divine source. And that is, for me, you access it through the unconscious mind, but you've got to get through all the nonsense in your unconscious mind first. And then you go to the 8th chakra. And then 9th chakra, so that's like beginning of the higher consciousness, I would call it. And then the 9th chakra is the Akashic records. Okay, so it's a dimension. Akashic records is the 9th chakra. The 10th chakra is the God consciousness realms. This is where I connect to Shiva consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Christ consciousness. So if I ever want to have a direct discussion with Buddha, Jesus, I just go there and they can teach me. 11th chakra is the realm of nirvana. That's the only way I can explain it, because that's where enlightenment happened for me. So these are only my labels. Okay, it doesn't make it true for anyone else. It's the only way I can explain it, because how can I explain the infinite? I had to have a way to explain it when I came back. So I wrote it all down after my experience and during my experience. Some of my notes I couldn't even read because my mind was so gone, but it was readable to the extent where I could put it into words to some extent. So 12th chakra is where I would call I went into heaven. Okay, so heaven is a realm, and it's the 12th chakra. And I spent quite a bit of time just knowing those 12 chakras. And then what I did, I started a podcast called Beyond Enlightenment, because what about after enlightenment? And then I was given more insights into the cosmic origin. So I call that the cosmic chakra, the 13th chakra. So cosmic origin. So our celestial bodies are actually the stars in the skies. So I don't believe what NASA tells you is out there, or SpaceX. I believe in what the divine taught me. And we are the stars. Our souls are the stars we see in the skies. You'll see them move. I know which one is me. So, that's the cosmic origin. And then celestial, 14th chakra was the celestial realms. So, beyond the cosmic is the celestial. And that's all the light, the energy, and the frequencies, pure energy, light frequencies. No form in any other way. It's just, if there is a form, it's of a spiral and waves. That's the only form that exists in the celestial. That mudra, in the picture behind me, I am actually not sure. It's worth looking up. I will look it up. I've had that picture for so many years, actually 10 years. But I love it because it just shows but that's probably something I need to look at. I actually done a post a few months ago on mudras, and the mudras, however you want to pronounce it. But here's one that I know connects me to Shiva. So I've got a different way of looking at mudras and hand gestures, because if you look at pictures of Christ, the 10 Sikh gurus, Shiva, Buddha, they all have different hand gestures. So the way I look at mudras, I look at hand gestures. So like Jesus, a lot of the time, Christ consciousness is just this. Okay? Guru Nanak always done this. Buddha was more this. But Buddha has a few others as well. Shiva, this. So when I actually connect with God consciousness, I use the hand gestures. So they are mudras. But I use them a little differently, because I only use what God taught me. I don't use what books teach me. Alright guys, I still see there's loads of comments, but I could be here all day long. But thank you so much for all the comments. Much love. I'm overwhelmed with the comments. There's just so many. So I've answered the best I could, but this live will be posted up on the page. I'm going to go and have some dinner now. Much love. I hope it was useful. I know it was, because it was very useful divine knowledge and wisdom that I shared. And if you missed it and you caught just the end of it, go back and watch it. It will be on the page. Much love.